Hello! I'm not wearing my 60-minute skin, but that's okay. As you probably noticed, this is not the usual arena. Um, yeah. So, it's been a few months here. This was actually supposed to start July 1st, which is obviously past. Um, but there's been, between me being lazy some days, me being busy other days, me doing some cool stuff with some cool people, um, stuff like that. 60-minute maps kind of got the back burner. I mean, I'd done 3 seasons pretty much in a row consistently. They were gapped out. They had map challenges in between. Um, I just kind of needed a break from playing custom maps. I've had my break. I'm back. I'm ready. Hopefully, at least some of you are ready to come back. Um, Obviously, 60-minute maps, map making in general on Java Edition is sort of a dying art. But every season we have some great maps, so I'm ready to see some great ones return. Anyway, before we kind of show off this new place that you can see I'm standing, I have an interview that I promised you guys from the end of last season with the season's winner, Cloudwolf. So that's going to be cut in probably right now. Hello folks, and welcome back to another video. I don't think I've ever said folks in a video before, but we're going to roll with it. With me today, as you can see in front of me, is Cloudwolf.
Yeah, I'm in the world. Yeah.
Yeah, well, actually just a black piece of wool with your head on it, but, you know, it's
No, that's
close
me.
enough. Yeah, here, you can, like, pretend you're waving hello. There you go. Okay.
I'm waving.
Um, so Cloudwolf here is the winner of, what season was I on? 7? 8?
7, I
Okay.
think.
I think it was 8, wasn't it? Wait.
It could be. I think it's
5,
7.
6, no, 7.
Yeah,
Alright. I knew that. Testing you.
maybe.
Um, so Cloudwolf was the winner. Like I said, I was going to bring the winner on for an interview. I've been super busy and out of town and all this stuff, but I finally found some time for this whole thing. Won't be very long, but you know, I'll probably stick something afterward for other things. I don't know. Anyway, so Cloud, you're pretty experienced. You've released a full map or two here and there.
Map or 2. Okay, I'll take 2. I mean, I guess it's not like I've released about 6 or 7.
Yeah,
But
well,
okay,
we
go
only
ahead.
talk about like 2 of them, right? There's
You're
like
right, you're right.
the Christmas one, and there was Hartsville or something like that.
And then, but Quantum Labs was arguably bigger, but okay.
Okay,
Go
well,
ahead.
Quantum Labs, sure. Okay, well, 3. We'll give you 3. We'll give you credit for 3. Um, so, can you tell us what's kind of the transition from 60-minute maps to real maps?
Oh, so you're gonna ask me that. Um, I'd say the transition for me was mainly just like keeping my focus. So I would never finish my maps because I would spend like years and years and years, not years and years, months and months working on one single map. And I get bored eventually. So the transition for me was just using 60-minute maps and then doing what I do in a 60-minute map and applying it to like one part of the map. So a lot of times I'll sit down one day and I'll be like, okay, I need to get this little section, this little battle done as quick as possible, and I'll go through it as if I'm making a 60-minute map, and I'll just quickly go through the battle and I'll make it really, really fast. And doing that kind of helps me get the map done quickly because most of my maps I only do build them in like 2 days. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Um, so you say you build it quickly. Did you have a full released map before you did 60-minute maps? I don't actually remember.
No, that's the funny thing. No, I only started releasing maps after 60-minute maps. Those kind of helped me like figure out how to get things done quicker without like being a little without being too OCD. Because a lot of times I would spend a long time working on a map, and then all of a sudden an update will come out, and then I'll be like, well, I have to add this in the map, or I'll think of some kind of new thing I want in the map, and I'll be like, oh, I need to add this in the map. So I would keep going back and making it better, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but in doing so, I would never finish. So, after doing 60-minute maps, I kind of learned that you just do things quick and get it out quickly, and just hope for the best.
Hmm. Um, Alright, well that's interesting. I know I often push you to kind of focus on stories in your 60-minute maps. Do you have any aspect of map making that you prefer to focus on? Like, what's your favorite
Um,
part? I should say.
okay, my favorite part would probably be it's probably evenly between storytelling and like kind of the fun kind of game aspect because I like to make a lot of mini games on servers because I like to play them with people. But at the same time, I also like to work by myself on most adventure maps. So I'd say the storytelling is my favorite part. It just can be kind of hard to think of it on the spot. You just kind of have to get partly lucky and partly just have a little epiphany or whatever. You have to just think of something on the spot. So storytelling is my favorite in terms of the outcome, like the product. But working on it, I'd say my favorite would be like a mini game slash server kind of game because I just like to do that kind of thing because I get to go along the way and like troubleshoot it and have people play it and tell me how it is as I go. Whereas with storytelling, it's more kind of slightly stressful because I come up with a story, I spend a lot of time into it, and then I release it, and I just hope that it'll do well. And a lot of times, the time that I spend working on it is a lot less enjoyable than working on a mini game. But I like the outcome from it a lot better because a lot more people enjoy it, and I kind of get that kind of self-satisfaction of knowing that other people are having fun. You know.
All right. So just basically two more questions here. What was kind of your inspiration for getting into doing maps?
My inspiration was definitely Hypixel because I saw there. I used to watch Minecraft videos as a lot of people did before I played the game, and then I bought it eventually after like 6 months of watching it. And my favorite videos to watch were the ones typically by YouTubers who played Hypixel maps. And I thought that what they did with their maps in 1.6 and 7 was just so amazing that I had to figure out how to do it myself. And then what kind of pushed me into enjoying minigames more was seeing Seth Blink's minigames and his little concepts that he made. I used to always kind of try and figure out how he did it, and that kind of helped me figure out how to do commands as I went. So I would start working on a map, and then I would go through the whole thing, add in a bunch of technical parts. For example, I used to do like dispensers to dispense mobs back in 1.3 or something like that. And then when I figured out how to use that, there was a summon command. When they added the summon command in, I went back and I kind of changed the way I did it and fixed things up and learned summon command from using it over and over and over again to make my maps better. So that kind of got me into map making. It's just kind of the long process of seeing other people do things in their maps and implementing it in mine, even though I never finished, you know. But
You kind of mentioned technology there, so I'm going to add an extra question in. Would you say there's any like specific part of technology in map making that a beginner should focus on? Like, should they jump straight into command blocks, or should they?
well, it's kind of like what I just said there. I feel like if you're really new to Minecraft and you haven't done command blocks, but you still want to do map making, you should just kind of start with the basics. I mean, you don't need to have an amazing command block fancy map for your first map, and you don't need to even release your first map if you don't want to. It's more of just taking the time to experiment with things. So maybe try making a map with whatever you currently know or whatever you can figure out. And along the way, you can kind of learn different commands, but you don't have to do everything at once, and you don't have to make the beginning of your map super amazing like a Hypixel map. Because, like, of course, everyone wants to make a map that cool, but it takes a lot of time to get there. So just start with the basics, do what you know, and then learn along the way.
All right. And then for the final question, obviously a little bit of self-promotion for you. I know you have a YouTube channel. Is there anything that people should particularly check out that you think is your best work?
Um, hmm. I'd say Quantum Labs is pretty good, but it got a lot of people, and it brought a lot of people to the channel. But for now, if anyone were to see this and they haven't already, I would suggest going and playing A Weekend in Hartsville for 1.9 because one of the 60-minute maps I did for the tournament was a prequel for it, and I'm going to be making the sequel soon. So that wouldn't necessarily be my best work, but I do suggest going and checking it out. I'd say my best work, if you want to see one of my best works, it would be the Christmas Accident 2, which like nobody played, which got me a little upset, but it's got 3D models, custom battles, a pretty long story. It's about an hour of gameplay, so get ready for that if you're going to go play it. But I feel like that one is my best published work so far.
All right. And we'll have you wave goodbye here on my screen if I can.
Oh, I'm waving.
There we
go. Wave emote.
All right. Thank you for joining us, Cloud Wolf. You guys can go to the description, click on the link. That'll have some kind of text next to it that points out that it's Cloud Wolf's channel. And you can go watch his videos. He does trigonometry and other weird things. I don't
Totally,
know.
dude.
Yeah. All right. See you guys next time. Goodbye. So yeah, that was the interview. I actually obviously have been standing here the whole time. So I don't know if I cut it in right there, but hopefully I did so I don't look crazy. Uh, but yes, so this is something that I started to work on ages back, and then because I was going to try and have this ready for July 1st, I actually stopped building as soon as it hit July 1st because I was like, all right, well, I'll finish building after announcing the season, and then I just never finished it. So this is I actually really like this roof. I'd forgotten that I designed it like that. This is my little Coliseum, I guess. I mean, I'm no Coliseum builder, so this is as close as I could get. I wanted to make a new building because the other one has been great for the last 6 seasons. But obviously we're getting new contestants, and some contestants haven't submitted in quite a while and stuff. But I didn't want to just remove the contestants because I thought it was really cool to have all of those previous contestants. So we have the Hall of Legends here. And obviously, we've got the main people here. I mean, I'm not... Okay. It's a little narcissistic looking that I'm at the front here, but it's because I wanted to put Rec and CDF across from each other, and I had already started building Ron's statue when it occurred to me, hey, I should put Rec and CDF across from each other. So then I was like, well, now I have to fill this space, and I guess I was like, hey, I guess we have the two, like, I don't know what they're called. Ring girls. The two ring girls. So I was like, alright, I'll just put mine there. But yeah, we've got the baby CDF, baby Rec. I was looking at the wrong statue when I said that. And what's kind of fun is if you press these buttons, it gives you a little outline on the person. So it's like Rickabilly 60-minute map concept founder, because he helped found the concept with CDF. Goes into a couple paragraphs just quick on stuff that he's done. And then it has his links to his 2 channels. So he's got YouTube, which is the Rickabilly channel, and then Retouched TV, or just Retouched, which is his Photoshop channel. And so it does that for all of them. You've got Ars Malik right there, goes into it, has his YouTube, his forum page. It does mine as well, right there. Mine is fairly long, although it really didn't need to be. I don't know. I guess it's easier to talk about yourself than it is to talk about other people. Over here, we've got kind of... this was a work in progress. Like I said, I didn't actually finish this. But these are all... You can hit the buttons, and it tells you about some very important people throughout 60-minute maps. So Jim Sack was the king of the ladder. Cloudwolf is obviously the most awarded 60-minute map creator. He's got the crown and everything. I haven't actually transferred that over here yet, but we'll set him up with a crown. He's obviously doing some great stuff now. He's released several popular full-scale maps. He's running a command tournament now. If you haven't seen that, it'll be linked in the description. I think it's absolutely fantastic. So yeah, and then we've got a Boona Boy here. So he's actually developed from like 60-minute maps to full-scale maps with his map team. They made some great maps last season. We've got Blonzik, who has put out tons and tons of great maps. Green Greenie, who's produced all of the music for both competition hosts, both Ring Girls. So, it's great. And then here, this is still in progress. As you can see, we've got another level to go. This is all of the skulls from the Coliseum. I forgot the exact number. It's around 117, I believe, unique participants. So we're going to be moving 117 skulls in here. And then obviously I've started with the live participants, went into the people that still had white wool, which was replaced with yellow wool eventually. But yeah, and I'll have to move basically the stand to represent what each wool means, and I'll probably put it like right there. But eventually this map will be out for download just like the Coliseum was. And yeah, it flashes that title as you're leaving as well. Over here, we've got a clock representing the 60-minute map thing. And then here we've got, I call it the tapestry, because I don't have a better name for it. But basically, if you can't tell, it starts with the first 60-minute season by Ars Malik. You got White Wool, that was the verses, and then the live challengers, which wasn't really a season, but it was a color wool, and then the yellow wool for tournament participant. This is the transfer from Ars Malik to me. That went on to the season 5, and then this was season 6, was the stackers. Season 5 was the tournament. Season 6 was the stackers. Season 7, I ended up using gray wool. Don't ask me why. I don't really know. And then obviously it's gonna continue onward. So that's what this little room is for. Got the ring girl here. They've got a new booth and everything. They've moved over. Obviously this probably needs some work. But I do really like this ring logo with the double M thing. Anyway, as you can see, we've got stands here. There's a bit of room. We might have to expand it eventually, but who knows. But this is where, if I grab some wool, you can see I'm in cat speak right now because me and some friends were messing around. But this is basically where it'll go, and so they'll go down the list. Probably not like that. They'll probably alternate like this, but yeah. So that's where all the. So even if you're in the Hall of Legends, you'll get your new spot out here, just so we can see the more recently active participants, I suppose. Like I said, I really liked the Coliseum. It's just I was bored. I thought, hey, I could work on making a new 60-minute map thing. I'm no great builder, but you know, I try my best. Besides, it's not about the arena, it's about the people. So, you know. But yeah, there's that. Now, I'm sure you're all wondering what this next season is going to be. And so, why don't we cut over to that, shall we? Okay, so we're in this little room here. It's actually connected to the rest of the Coliseum type thing. It's not really a Coliseum. Anyway, it's connected to the rest of my arena building, but this area is not complete yet, so I've got it closed off for the moment, just so I don't accidentally show it on that tour. As you can see, it's a very sparse little room. Now, one of the most popular, basically, seasons of 60-minute maps was the tournament, the 4 weeks that Ars Malik did. Obviously, there was a lot of submissions for the ladder. I actually think that one probably received the most submissions, but that was because people could submit multiple times. The tournament, you can only submit, one per thing. The other thing about the tournament is it was a little more balanced in a lot of people's opinion, and by a lot of people, I mean mine and several other people that I've consulted with, because it was scored. You had 4 maps, you score it, there was a winner each time, so it was maps being scored against each other, but it was also the overall winner, the person that had put the most effort into the tournament, or had gotten the luckiest, or whatever. Or not the luckiest, but gotten the most chance, I don't know how to describe it. Anyway, in the ladder, it was whoever happened to be paired up against the higher person towards the end. And obviously it came down to also winning, but, stuff like that. This is a terrible intro to the season. Anyway, it's a 4-week tournament. And by 4 week, I mean, yeah, roughly 4 weeks. Now the thing here is that, I have to work around my schedule, because in August I'm fairly busy, but I couldn't delay 60-minute maps another month. I would have felt terrible, and I was slow. And also, the longer it went, the less likely that I was going to be able to fit it in. So I was like, even though I'm busy in August, we're going to fit it in here. If you're curious as to why I'm busy, there's probably another video coming out roughly the same time as this one, or within some amount of time of it, explaining all that. But basically, I have to work around that. So, the goal of this is to play them all on time. The maps that are submitted will be played as soon as they're submitted. As soon as there is 2 maps, that video comes out. Hopefully I don't fall behind. I'll have recorded the next week's themes and stuff ahead of time, so I just have to edit in the winner, or even post it as a separate video. But hopefully we get this done in 4 weeks. That's the goal. We're not going to have a repeat of that horrible season we don't talk about. Season 7. 7? Yeah, 7. Anyway, so in here I've got a map type that can be anything from, not necessarily a map type, but something from multiplayer to puzzle to adventure or story-based, etc. So I've got, obviously, my dispensers, as always. And then on this side we have a theme word, a single theme word. Just for this first week, we're just going to have that one word. Just have to work it in there somehow. So, boop. So diverse is our theme word. Puzzle is our map type. So you have to make a map with some kind of puzzle. It does not have to be focused on puzzle. That's something that people kind of ask every time I do one of these where there's a map type. They're like, does it have to be only that? No, it does not have to be only that. It just has to have that. It has to have the puzzle. Okay, that's the kind of thing, right? It doesn't have to be focused on puzzle. You can have a story, you can have parkour, you can have whatever you want, as long as there's a puzzle in there. And then diverse, you just have to work in there. As always, it's up to your interpretation. I'll make this look nicer once we, have to put the winners in here. I'm looking forward to the first few submissions. This season, I will actually be openly just putting out the scores there if you guys are interested. So feel free to let me know in the comments whether you think that I feel really disgusting asking for comments. Anyway, feel free, but it's a good way to get feedback. So if you're interested in having the scores on each map announced at the end of those videos, when I typically do the overview, which I know some people appreciate, so I will continue to do those. So if you're interested in me actually going through each category on my spreadsheet and saying, this is the score you got on this is my note as to why, because I do actually make notes on everything, then just let me know, and I will do that in every overview. I will go through, instead of just saying, this is where I thought you could have improved, I will say, this is how you scored low in this area, you could have improved in this area by doing this. So basically more in-depth. Alright, I think that's all I've got to say. I look forward to seeing you guys in 60-minute maps. I look forward to the first few maps we get submitted. Hopefully we get at least 2, so there is an actual episode. Hopefully Skype doesn't beep in the middle of those episodes like it did just there. But yeah. See you guys next time. Goodbye.